Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and boy oh boy is today a special recipe. I'm talking one of the biggest treats I've ever made. Now, you know me and my love of this brand called Better Than Bouillon. Better Than Bouillon is the be-all, end-all of bouillons and soup bases. Nothing tastes as flavorful or as great, nor do they come in as many varieties. Today we're focusing on one of my favorites, the chili base. I might have made this one a little bit popular amongst you with my blue ribbon chili, but I wanted to take it to the next level by doing a different chili. One of the most succulent Cadillac meats that one can sink their teeth into. I'm talking short ribs. Guys, we're gonna make the most astounding short rib chili, and we're gonna use that Better Than Bouillon chili base, and it's going to send it home on a level you've never seen before. So the only thing short about this recipe is gonna be the ribs, because we're not gonna be short on the flavor at all. Thanks to the Better Than Bouillon chili base that I love so much. I love partnering with them, one of my favorite brands in the world. Right to the Instant Pot, we do it, short rib chili. Alright, let's begin by getting all of our veggie prep out of the way, and I want to start with a large, well, they're pretty much always large, Vidalia onion, and I'm going to dice it up. And it doesn't have to be super like finely diced, just like this is just fine. Now let's focus on our peppers, and I am proud to say that all of these peppers you see before you were grown in Richard's own garden. Fresh garden peppers! Does it get any better? What I want to take is one green bell pepper. You can also use a poblano pepper if you want, but for chili I like to use a green bell pepper. A jalapeno pepper. Now these are really tiny jalapenos, so I'm going to use 2 little ones, but you can use 1 large one, or if you want to get a little spicier, you can use 2. And I want to go with 1 cherry pepper. If you can't find one of these in the market as they are, you can get them in a jar in like the oil section where like the banana peppers are, roasted red peppers, things of that nature. So I'm going to take all 3 of them. And there we have it. I removed the ribs and the seeds from each of the peppers. The ribs are the little white lines inside, and the seeds, well, they're obviously seeds. If you're gonna do that with your hands, just be mindful that you should wash them afterwards and maybe use some dish soap or something, because if you rub your eyes or any other parts, you're gonna feel some warmth there. Also, the ribs and seeds adds a lot of extra spice and heat to the dish, so it really keeps the peppers more mild this way, so it's not overpowering. Of course, that being said, if you want it a lot hotter, by all means, leave the ribs and seeds intact. You could also definitely add more cherry peppers and jalapeno to your liking. Alright, now it's time to get serious and focus on our short ribs. These are what short ribs look like. Typically a little bone here, and then a hunk of meat right on top of it, and it should be nice and marbled throughout. It is divine, melt in your mouth like butter meat. It is without question one of my favorite, if not my favorite cut of meat to use. Simply delectable. So now let's season our short ribs. I want to take some kosher salt and pepper, about a teaspoon of each. Look at that, it looks like a little yin-yang. And I just want to mix everything up in here, get everything nice and mixed. Great. And then just season my short ribs. Just lightly rub them all on all sides. This is all we'll need though, right here, just 1 teaspoon of each. Alright, just a nice light rub. Again, just a teaspoon of kosher salt and pepper will be totally sufficient. And this is 3 pounds of meat, by the way, in case I didn't say that before. Now that might sound like a lot of meat because in my blue ribbon chili I use 1.5 pounds of ground beef. But don't forget, we have to account for the bones that's accounted into that weight, which we will be removing after we pressure cook, and also the meat's gonna cook down. So it's gonna be about 1.5 pounds of meat you're left with. Alright, so we got our veggies prepped, we got our meat seasoned up. Let's move on to the pot. So to the Instant Pot, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You can also use extra virgin olive oil. And we're going to give it some heat. So we'll come down to our pot and hit the saute button and make sure we're on the more or the high setting. If your Instant Pot has a start button on that, hit that. If it doesn't, after a few moments of doing nothing, it'll start on its own. And after about 3 minutes of the oil heating in the pot, I'm going to take my short ribs and I'm going to sear them on each side for just about 30 seconds. No longer than that. It's going to be a flash sear. And we'll do this in 2 batches. Get each side. One of those sides will be bone. Okay, and once we're looking like this, we are perfect, guys. Nice and just lightly flash seared on all sides. It's okay if it's still some pink showing through. It's going to be pressure cooked. So now I'm just going to remove the short ribs to a dish for the time being. And then take the remaining batch of short ribs and do the same. And there we have it, nice and flash seared on all sides. And now I'm going to just remove my short ribs to a bowl, let them rest, and we'll come back to that later. Okay, back to the pot. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons or 1/4 of a stick of salted butter. And then I'm just going to swish that around to help it melt more quickly. Now I'm going to add in those peppers and onion. And we're going to saute this in the pot for about 3 to 5 minutes until the onions become a bit translucent and the peppers begin to soften a bit. Now you'll see there's some brown bits stuck to the bottom of the pan from when we seared the short ribs. That's all going to come up in a bit, don't you worry. Alright, now our saute game is looking good. So now I'm going to add in 3 cloves or 1 tablespoon of crushed or minced garlic. And then saute that for a minute longer. And you'll see already everything has come up from the bottom of the pot, because all the liquids that are released from the onion and the peppers, meaning water, will help deglaze the bottom. Alrighty, and now we're going to add in 1/4 cup of a dry red wine, like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Pinot Noir. And I'm just going to let this simmer for about a minute, and again, deglaze the bottom of the pot. If you don't want to add any wine, you absolutely do not have to. You'll skip this step, and you'll just move on to the next step. Okay, now let's add in our broth. I'm going to use one of my favorite things in the world, one of my best friends, some beef Better Than Bouillon, and I'm using actually reduced sodium for this because I feel like there's already enough salt in the dish, but you can totally use regular if you want. I'm going to use 1/2 cup of this. That means 1/2 teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon beef base mixed with 1/2 cup of this warm water is fine because it's going to get heated up as we go. If you did not add that red wine, that 1/4 cup, make up for it here by adding 3/4 cup of broth versus 1/2 cup. I'm also going to add in 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and that's not to be confused with pasta sauce. Literally, it's the canned stuff in the market. It'll say tomato sauce on it. Buy all the crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, things like that. 1 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes. You can use low sodium or no salt added if you wish. 1 10-ounce can of a diced tomato and diced green chili mix. If you can't find one of those, you can use like a 7-ounce can of diced green chilies, or not spicy. And we're going to season this up with 2 tablespoons of cumin, or cumin, however you want to pronounce it, 1.5 teaspoons, which is also 1/2 tablespoon, of chili powder, and 1 teaspoon each of garlic powder, garlic salt, seasoned salt, dried basil, and Italian seasoning. Put that in there, as well as 1/4 cup of taco sauce. You'll find this also in the Mexican section of your market, right near any of the taco ingredients. And now give everything a good stir. Let's make sure that all those liquids and all the seasonings are combined with our veggies. And make sure the bottom of the pot is nice and smooth as we give everything a stir. Okay, now I want to take the short ribs that I've flash seared and then just nestle them into our broth here. And just smooth it down. You don't have to like press it per se, just smooth it down so it's evenly distributed. And now we're going to top this off with 2 15.5-ounce cans of beans. I'm using light and dark red kidney, 1 can of each, but you can just use dark or light, it doesn't make a difference. Or if you're not into chili, having beans in it, leave them out. But in my opinion, chili can go either way. I like it with beans. If you don't want it with beans, then fine. These beans are also low sodium, by the way, and I've rinsed and drained them from the can. Alright, I'm just going to smooth these out. I am not going to mix. And now as an option, I love to add this, some sliced banana peppers. You can get this in the market, actually right near where you would get anything like roasted red peppers or those cherry peppers that might be in a jar. Things like that, you can get that there. I'm going to put about 1/2 cup. It's just they're drained from the jar, and I'm just going to add them on top. You could add more or less to taste. Or you can leave them out completely. And you can reserve some for garnish when you actually serve your chili. And now let's hit the cancel or the keep warm / cancel button if your model shares that button. And we're gonna hit the pressure cook button. We're gonna go, guys, for 35 minutes at high pressure. And again, like the saute, hit start if you have a start button. If not, it'll start on its own. Alright, now that we're done pressure cooking, we're going to allow a 15-minute natural release, and what happens now after the pressure cooking cycle is done is the clock will begin to count up, meaning how many minutes have elapsed since we've finished cooking. In this situation, we're going to wait until that reads 15 right over here, because that means 15 minutes will have elapsed, and then it's time to quick release. And now that 15 minutes of a natural release have passed, we're going to finish this off with a quick release. And the pin just dropped, so we're going to take that lid off the pot. Ooh, and we're looking delicious, and it smells amazing. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to take some tongs, and I want to take those short ribs and take them out of the pot and into this bowl. Or any bowl. You're not going to actually use this bowl, right? And these short ribs are going to be crazy tender, fall off the bone. In fact, one of them already did. What I want to do is let these just rest for a few moments. We'll come back to them, and we're going to pull these bones out and then kind of shred it up a bit and add it right back to our chili. But first, let's doctor this up a little bit. We have a final few steps that are going to make all the difference in the world. Alright, so right now we want to thicken our chili up a little bit, and to do that, we're going to add in a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. Now, here's a little trick for you on how to get this in easily. Take a can opener, open one end, take the little top off, then flip it upside down, and then do the other end. Now just leave the other end on there, because we're going to take a spoon and we're just going to press down, and poof, right into the pot it goes. Of course, that also means that the end of the can is still on there, which we want to make sure we get out. There we go, fish that out and discard, of course. And the magical ingredient to make this chili sing just like my blue ribbon chili is some chili Better Than Bouillon. Yes, they make chili flavor. You can find it in many markets and online. I'll link where you can get this, and this stuff is magical. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this now. And I would suggest adding 1 to 2 tablespoons of it. And the chili Better Than Bouillon is less concentrated than the other bases, so that's why I'm adding it at the end for extra flavor. Now I like to add 1 to 2 tablespoons. Start with 1, stir it in, and then decide if you want to add another. In the meantime, stir everything up and make sure the tomato paste and the Better Than Bouillon is nice and melded into our chili. And now I'm gonna let our chili rest for about 10 minutes, because as the chili rests, it begins to cool, which means the flavors come together more and it'll thicken on its own naturally. It's already thickening up to the perfect consistency as is, but it's gonna get there even better after 10 minutes of some patience. Okay, now let's go back to our short ribs. Okay, here's my short ribs. And what I wanna do, you're gonna see this, guys, is just pull these bones out. They're gonna come right, look at that. Slide out. It's that simple. Slide them right out. It couldn't be, this is how amazing short ribs are. They're so tender like butter. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Slide them right out. And guess what? You can save these for like making a stock. If you want to make like a beef stock or beef broth, fabulous for that. All right, now let's just grab a couple of forks and just shred these short ribs apart because they're super fork tender. Look at this. Look at this delicious short rib meat. Okay, perfect. Now you'll notice on each piece of short rib, sometimes there's a little piece of fat here where and this fat hugs the bone so the meat stays on it. Some people love to eat this like I do, but if you're not into it, you can always discard this. By the way, you can also just, rip this up by hand when it's cool to the touch if you want, as long as your hands are cleaner, of course. Or you can just chop it up with a knife if you want. I like it kind of in this shredded type of situation here though. All right, we're ready to add this back to our chili. All right, into the pot this glorious meat goes. Give it all a good stir so all of the short ribs are incorporated into that chili. And there we have it, guys. Short rib chili, packed to the brim, loaded with goodies, especially that succulent short rib meat. This is gonna be on another level. I can already tell just from smelling it. So let's put this in some bowls and serve it up. All right, and there we go, right into the bowl. Oh, look at how hearty. Look at that nice piece of short rib there. Some beans in there and all the fixins, the onion, the peppers, and then feel free to top it off with a little bit of some shredded cheese here. I like that nice rustic cut. And Banjo heard the C word, so of course he's freaking out. And here we have it, guys. Now of course you could add some banana peppers if you want, some additional ones. You could add a dollop of sour cream if you want. Whatever you want to do, sky's the limit, as long as you got that short ribs and you have that fabulous chili Better Than Bouillon in there. My friends, let's try this goodness out. All right, my friends, and there's that chili. Let's try it out. I am so excited. So is Banjo. You hear him pitter-pattering in here. Here we go, some short ribs. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, chili's just been taken to the next level. Not only because we have short ribs in here, because that chili Better Than Bouillon is kissing it. Kissing it. I might have even just spittled when I said that, kissing it. That combined with the rich flavor of everything else going on in here, the short ribs and the Better Than Bouillon chili just ties it in together, It just ties the whole chili together. This would also be good with some cornbread or some oyster crackers. Look at the short rib. Look at the short ribs. Look at... It's melting in my mouth. If I didn't have teeth right now, I could eat it. I could chew it with my gums. That's how tender it is. It's on another level, guys. This chili is just to die for delicious. I do love my chilies, and this one is up there amongst the best. If I was to enter another chili contest, this is the one I'm gonna enter because I like to change things up. And this is unlike any of the chili I've ever had. It gives you that chili flavor, yet at the same time, it's a little richer with that fabulous short rib consistency in there, the melt in your mouth aspect, and of course, as the short ribs cook inside the Instant Pot, it releases all of the most amazing flavors. I don't like to say fat, but you know, it's like a flavorful fat that goes in there, but it's absolutely divine, delicious, everything you'd ever want in a chili, and this one's up there amongst the best. It truly is. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, check out pressurelookcooking.com because I have so many different videos and recipes there. So many different ones, many of which use Better Than Bouillon. Speaking of which, if you want to have that fabulous Better Than Bouillon chili base, I can't recommend it enough. Check it out online at betterthanbouillon.com. Also check your local markets or really anywhere that soup bases and bouillons are sold. This stuff is a star ingredient, a key player. I love you. I love you so much. I do. We need a moment. I wrote not one, not two, but 3 cookbooks. The third one will be coming out in April of 2022. But in the meantime, you can get the #1 bestsellers. Each of these are my original step-by-step Instant Pot cookbook, the orange one, and the lighter step-by-step Instant Pot cookbook, the blue one. The thing that sets these recipes apart from the others is not only how flavorful they are, but also because of how beautiful the books are with over 750 color photos showing you steps of every single recipe, guiding you along the way with a final shot of each, no guesswork whatsoever. And check me out at facebook.com/pressurelookcooking, like the page. Of course, you don't want to miss any updates. And also on Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube, and maybe TikTok. I always say maybe TikTok, but I guess I really have to get on that. In the meantime, I cannot stop eating this. Thank you so much again, guys, and I'll leave you with this. The next time you want to make the most outstanding chili there is, just remember this: if you use short ribs in there, the only thing short is going to be the ribs, because we're not coming up short on that flavor. It's going to be the most amazing experience you've ever had in a bowl. Enjoy! Oh, I can't get enough of it. Look at this meat. Look at the short rib. I can't. Yes, I can.